It's another week. It's another Dirty Laundry Game Worn Hockey Podcast, episode number 28. Wade Hampton, Paul Rank, and Pat Lelliott joins us this evening, all the way from Winnipeg. Evening, sir.
Good
How,
evening. Thanks for
how's
having me on.
things north of the border? Your camp's opened. The Blues have opened their camp. The Sharks opened theirs today, and everybody's excited for hockey.
Yep, preseason starts next week. Fan Fest on the weekend. It's getting exciting.
Now, does your Fan Fest have equipment and game jerseys and all that kind of stuff too?
Yes, we will. Actually, we will have mostly the stuff we bring out is stuff we can put on sale. So there will be actually some great deals on jerseys. We're going to be bringing skates, pants, gloves. No sticks, unfortunately. I think this is probably the lowest we've ever been on stick inventory, but there will be a great selection of locker room clothing, hoodies, t-shirts.
It sounds funny, but that's one of my favorite things to pick up is the player hoodies and the player shirts because the quality's good, and I like you're wearing one now. I love having the number on there, finding guys because I'm a little tubby, finding the bigger hoodies to wear because some of those guys are small. They like their hoodies tight, and I'm too round to do that.
They're great quality. They're great quality and very comfortable. And we've actually gotten to the point now where when we get a set, like say we get a playoff set, or they actually wear them for a lot of the specialty nights too. Like say military night, they had a special, really nice black military one last year for Hockey Fights Cancer. And we usually auction those now.
Nice, because of the different designs and the colors. That's a great idea.
Yep. And of course, everyone has their favorite player. So we found that's just the best way to get them out there to everybody.
And you would, before we came on the air here, you said the Jets are making a big reveal tomorrow too. Is that right?
On Saturday, yes,
okay.
at Fan Fest, there'll be a new jersey being unveiled, and 11:45 at Fan Fest on Saturday. Can't go into any more details than that, but
there's a lot of teams doing that though this year. You've got like I was talking to you beforehand before everybody else joined. The Wild are teasing either colors or something similar to the North Stars design. So I'll be curious to see what they do. I mean, we've seen what Boston's done already. There's been a few other teams. Is it Edmonton that's been teasing their color change a little bit?
I haven't seen anything yet.
It's little bits and pieces, but several teams are doing the same kind of thing at their fan fests or the beginning of training camp.
Was the rumor for Minnesota basically going back to the green reverse retro? Very similar to that.
The tees I saw color wise didn't look that way, but I'm not the best judge of that. I'll see if I can find it. I should have had it up where I could share it with everybody, but I can't find it at the moment. We'll get into that. Some of the other stuff I want to touch on. Paul has done a fantastic job now, and I believe it's linked out on the Game Worn pages for keeping track of all the Game Worn expos. That is extremely helpful. We'll tease those again. September 30th, you've got the South Jersey Game Worn Expo, 10 to 4 at West Deptford, New Jersey. October the 7th, SoCal. In Valencia, California. That is Saturday, October 7th from 9 to 4. October the 15th, the Minnesota Wild Collectors Expo going on in St. Paul, Minnesota. October 21st and 22nd is Wade, his fantastic one in St. Louis there in Collinsville. We're up to what, 40 tables now? Is that what you said?
Just touching over, about over 40 tables, like over 20 independent, like vendors or collectors or whatever, and then a couple signers each day. I think one of the big ones, which is really cool, is Ringside Reserve, which is the Blues page that does the Friday drops and their equipment people. They're going to be there on Saturday, and they're going to drop fresh stuff exclusive to the expo, which I think is really cool. I think that if anything's going to get people in the door, like, if you follow that at all, when they drop those jerseys, a lot of them sell. And for a long time, we're selling within like seconds of release. So I think that's pretty exciting. I have some friends from Heritage Auctions who are going to be there to, look at stuff and obviously take stuff in on consignment if you're looking to move items. Heritage is obviously, one of the largest auction houses in the world, and so that's pretty cool. And then, I think again we always touch on it, and I'm going to say it again: the camaraderie of the whole thing is beyond important. I think as far as these go, just looking forward to seeing everybody. I think that's the coolest part is like, spending a day walking around the room, and then the second day, what makes ours a little different is having a 2-day one. The first day you'll see some trades and moves, and then the second day it's kind of cool to see people bring other stuff back in and the deals, and just really excited. I've been a little overstressed because I put a lot of effort into this one.
Hey, you're in a month from today, so
yeah,
you got it.
No kidding.
Hey, this is the third one you've got it. It's old hat. I'll plug a side thing having to do with this just because the timing's the same. If you saw my post on the Dirty Laundry Game Worn Facebook page, I'm skating not with the Blues, but skating in a game before the Blues game that night, which most of us I think are going to go to the Blues game. I put a link if anybody wants to donate for the fundraising I have to do as part of that, or there's also links for either that night or for 3 other dates for game tickets. And some of that money goes to charity as well. So if you can't find the link, shoot me, but I've got to raise $165 between now and then and sell 6 tickets. So of course I got to buy some for myself anyway, but I know a lot of us are going to go to the game that night. So I get to, like I said last time, I get to make my own game worn jersey and then wear it post. So
hey, after tonight's thing, give me some info so I can post that on our page, so I can try to sell some tickets that way for you.
I appreciate it. A couple other events. Another one for October 21st, same day as Wade's on that Saturday, is the Hershey Game Worn Expo going on at the Holiday Inn in Grantville, Pennsylvania, and then we'll get into the November ones as we push a little bit closer to those dates. And Paul, you put the link out on the Game Worn page, I think, too, when you gave it to me, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I'll also put it in the comments on YouTube and stuff once
Awesome.
we get this
Thank you.
issue uploaded. I did want to add for the LA Southern Cal Expo on October 7th, Mark from Classic is going to be there also.
Oh, very nice.
Which would be really nice to have. He was in the Germany Expo, the Dusseldorf one, and now he'll also be in the Southern Cal one, which would be great to see him again. On a different level, I would like to challenge people going to these expos or hosting them. As I mentioned on the last show, we raised the equivalent of US $4,500 for charity. Love to see some of these other expos try to top that. And I know what the turnout
is. That's a fun challenge. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what I can offer other than pride for whoever does it, but I would love to see it happen. So just putting that out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can definitely try and figure out something.
Yeah. So the one thing we do, and I don't know where the money's going to end up, but I do have autograph guests. It's a free autograph with every admission, and then any autograph beyond the first autograph, which goes towards the admission and then towards the signing part, is donated. A portion of that's going to go back to Dog Nation Hockey Foundation, St. Louis. So we kind of already have a little bit of a setup to do some donations. I don't know where that's going to end up. It really depends on attendance and how many people get autographs. But I think it'll do okay. I do like the idea. And one of the things that Paul kind of did at the Dusseldorf and those guys did was, I know they did like a kind of like a raffle or an auction kind of thing. I don't know if I can get that in place for this year, but that's definitely something that I'm going to look into, getting some items donated and maybe donating some myself or from some other people and do that next year. So Paul definitely took note of it. I'd like to find a charity that would make sense for that, and then, move forward with that probably in the next event.
Yeah. Our Dusseldorf auction was a last minute thing.
Yeah.
It just came up and people started throwing jerseys into the pile. And
hey, you never know.
it was wonderful.
If people start doing that at mine, we'll go all in on it. I think it's wonderful. I think that like what you kind of hit on is really important. It falls back into the community thing. I think it demonstrates that we have a bunch of really great people in this little segment of collecting in the hobby.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and Dog Nation, who you referenced, I know they'll have a table there to come talk to Matt and those guys. They do amazing work. I've had a chance to be around some of them, and they all bust their butt down there for it. So if you're coming down, check it out. I know it's again, every one of these is fun, and I've had some people reach out that have found the podcast and have reached out to me saying I got to get to an expo somewhere, and awesome. Even if you don't bring a single jersey by, and just being there, it makes a huge difference. It shows the support you want to give. So the Ducks have their jerseys out. They're rookie camp guys. So those have now hit, and they have a sponsor patch this year. They did not have one last year, if I remember correctly. I was trying to get a list of what teams have sponsors patches this year that didn't, and I couldn't dig up a solid one anywhere. So I've got to do some more dig into that. But the Ducks do have one. So let me share what they look like. And theirs, because it's also their 30th anniversary, theirs are real busy. And I'm curious how they're going to fit the and I don't have a picture with it. Somebody photoshopped it. Yeah, but there's, you can see the home and away, and it looks like, again, their sponsor patch is only for home. So the away, if you notice, is clean. So their aways won't be as big a deal for the A's or the C's, but their home jerseys, you've got the 30th, you've got the sponsor patch, you've got the 2 patches on the shoulder. I mean,
yeah, I just wish that if teams that have the shoulder patches, like, take one of the shoulder patches off and put the 30th anniversary on the shoulder.
Yeah, like that's kind of what I would go with too.
Yeah. Doesn't it just seem to make the most sense?
Yeah, well, it's been done. Like just as an example, the last year of the IHL, Manitoba Moose, they had 2 shoulder patches on all their jerseys, but they took the left one off to put their 5th anniversary patch on.
Well, you guys in Winnipeg,
right?
Your Winnipeg jerseys have shoulder patches.
Yes,
so I mean, like, if you guys got to that point, I mean, I just think it would clean up the look so much, and Florida went through that same problem last year at the finals, and they ended up having to take the sponsor patch off. I mean, like, put the Stanley Cup patch. I know they want that on the chest for TV reasons, but move one of the other patches to the shoulder. I mean, the equipment guys are so skilled. I'm sure that wouldn't be a problem.
Unless there's a lot of glue residue left over.
Sure.
Yeah. That could be a problem, or they're going to have to put material over top of the glue where the glue stains are. And I mean, that's,
I guess it could get interesting, but.
We'll put the A's and the C's in the middle of the Duck logo. Just put it right there in the middle.
I'm actually just looking at the black one here. It looks like there's room. Like, to me, it looks like there's room under the patch. And I mean, there's a lot of collectors out there that would love that. I mean, the more patches, the better.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know if we care about the shoulder ones as much. Like, the specialty ones are great. I mean, I love when teams do a specialty patch or do something unique. I mean, I think it just adds so much to it. I know the Blues I have missed, since the 50th anniversary, we haven't put a patch for like the last couple. Like, I wish that every 5 years I wish all the teams for their 5 or 10 year, milestones would think about it, because they bring so much, it's another jersey to sell.
That was very disappointing to me when the Jets had their fifth season, that they didn't do one. They had one all ready to go, but unfortunately it just didn't make it on the jersey. What we ended up doing was put it on the game worn tag inside the jersey.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting. Cool. Now, and if you can't say, Pat, that's perfectly fine. Was that a team decision or an NHL call?
I think it was a team decision.
Okay. Interesting. Because I've seen the NHL step in at times when teams have asked for patches for special things, and it had to become a helmet sticker.
Yes. That would have even been nice.
But yeah, it's like, put it out there so everybody can see it on TV and things like that. It's nice that it was still put in somewhere, but it would have been nice for everybody to enjoy it. So yeah, so we'll see as these, and the Ducks did also, and I should have pulled one up here too, is they do have the throwback or the third or whatever specialty jersey that's got the duck goalie mask face. That was one of the best logos. As cheesy as that was with the whole Disney thing, I love it. I really love that design, and I mean that's one of the things that made the Ducks so popular is that logo.
I think there's a lot of collectors that would like to see them go back to that.
Yeah,
Permanently.
and if when these come out, I think the prices will be crazy. And I guess this another, and I think we may have brought this up a little bit, but it comes into my mind again when talking about the Ducks and their sponsors, is now that we've gone through the season and we've gone through most of the summer sales and things like that, have any of you felt like sales were down because jerseys had ads on them?
No.
Not from our perspective.
To say I don't think so either, because every jersey I've seen sold, I mean, within, because we're tracking the Blues prices, within the range I kind of expected.
I think that anybody who, there was a lot of guys who made comments like, oh, if they do that, I'm not buying jerseys anymore. I think they were certainly replaced pretty quickly with new blood that's entering our collecting world pretty quickly. So I don't think if anybody did leave, I don't think they were missed.
Now, if collectors are fans of certain players, that ad patch isn't going to make any sort of difference.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
I mean, it is, if you go to Toronto, the milk patch I do find hilarious, but it is what it is. But other than that, I had no problem with it. I get it because it's a financial thing at the end of the day with the hit the NHL and the owners took. You had to make that up, and the helmet sponsor patches, they showed how quickly those sold and the kind of money they made. It made sense to do the others. And I'll have to go dig in, and I'll get it before the next episode, is how many teams still are not doing a jersey sponsor patch. I'm betting it's not a ton, because Seattle now has one too. I stumbled across that looking at stuff. This one's a great one. The Mickle-Shoot Indian Tribe is their ad patch for 23-24. It's a round logo, says or Muckleshoot, excuse me, Muckleshoot across the top has a mountain, and then the bottom says Indian Tribe in kind of a tan color. So they are the home and road sweaters is what you'll see them in.
I don't know why some teams only do the one jersey.
Some of it had to do, I know, with if they were casino or those kind of base things.
Okay, that makes sense.
For the U.S., if you went to a state that did not have gambling or legal gambling, they didn't want to do it. And actually,
that makes sense.
Let me share the screen here. You can see the Kraken one here. I was able to pull it up, but that's the what Seattle's patches look like for this year.
It looks good.
Yeah, reasonable. The colors seem to blend in well, and I don't see anything out of sight, and a nice looking patch and a very interesting sponsor. Good for them. I don't see anything wrong with that.
It looks great. I like that. I've not seen it till right now. So
yeah, I stumbled across it tonight looking for sponsors and other stuff, and had missed it in the news, and I think they announced it earlier in the summer. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. And like I said, I'll dig up as we get through the season and the episodes who still doesn't have sponsor patches, or if they're just doing half of them. We'll touch on that at some point. Classic auctions. The classic auctions close was that Tuesday night. All the days run together for me too, Paul. So
Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah.
So what did you guys think of some of the lots and their closing prices?
I mean, the stuff I really wanted, which was the Berenson St. Louis jersey, went for more than I could afford or could justify spending, but less than what I expected it to go for. I think that one was
close to 11, right?
11, and then with
Plus
hammer 13.
Yeah, I had figured it to be 15 plus the juice. So it closed a little lower than I expected because it sat at 11. It got there, and I didn't get a run at the end.
I don't think there were any bids the last week on it.
No, so I was surprised on that one because that was a jersey that, being a first-year Blues, I expected that to hit 15 based upon who he is as well.
Yeah, I would kind of think the same. Final price with the fees, $13,344.
Wow.
It's a heck of a jersey. I mean, if you're a Blues collector, it's a it's a huge piece, but
right.
It wasn't something I was in the running for.
Yeah, looking at another one, a Blues one from the side, just from stuff I was watching, is they had a Bacchus 13-14 media tour captain's jersey, had migrate tagging and stuff, and it sold for $1,024.
That's
which was
wild.
a little higher than what I thought it would go for.
Yeah, I mean, that's in my I'm not trying to bash it, but that's just $600-800 jersey. I mean, a Bacchus worn one's probably $1,000 to $1,500 typically.
Yeah, and maybe it's because it was the first, I guess, actual jersey with the C on it. Something I could figure. Yeah. Some of the Belfour stuff, holy hell! The 98, 99 Warwick mask. That was multiple match videos, pictures, the whole bit. Price with fees, $62,893. Stanley Cup Finals jersey from 98, 99, $30,768. Heck, the mask that was in pieces, that was black, made for him black, but had no cage, no nothing, sold for $2,082. This
what I thought was, as we were talking about earlier, was the purple and gold Janicek Kings. I thought that was very reasonable. 1,200 with the hammer.
Yeah, and it's interesting to go look at some of those, and I mean, my area is limited, but yeah, some of those you just, things seemed way under what, and others went way, I think, of course, way higher. Any other surprises or things that you guys thought were off the charts?
There was a real large volume of jerseys in Classic this time, probably more than they've had in years. So that could have affected some of the pricing.
Yeah, $1,272 for that Kings. That one, that shocks me.
That's very, for a 20th patch purple and gold Kings, I thought that was very reasonable.
I agree.
Or even there was a Burger King Zamolik on there as well, and from what I've seen those go for in the past, I thought that one went fairly reasonable as well.
That one was 2,700.
Yeah. I mean, those you just don't see them hit the hobby much at all anymore.
Yeah. I guess it was because it was Zamolik.
But even like this Frank Finnegan, the 1926-27, it's been attributed to that Stanley Cup game, $22,000. And again, maybe it's, you've got to be a very specific type of collector for that. It's Ottawa Senators, but that seems low to me for what it is.
The question on that, pieces like that, the question is how many guys are collectors on that? Like, what genre does that fit into?
Yeah. Trying to see if there's any other interesting thing. You had Gretzky's early 80s skates, sold for $17,762. Bobby Orr's
Pittsburgh gamer that I thought was, again, pretty reasonable for a player of that stature.
Lemieux 96-97 playoff sold for $13,344. Sakic from 92-93 Nordiques, captain's jersey for $19,103, and has the NHL patch on the chest as well. The Goldie Goldthorpe and Dave Gilmore jerseys in here for $17,365. Yeah, we know why that one sold where it is, as being as popular as it is.
Are any of you guys enforcer collectors, or are you like, I know you're probably strictly a Blues guy, but are any of you enforcer collectors?
I collect Blues primarily. I mean, obviously I love our enforcers, but that's not like a focal point of my collection.
Yeah, I focus on University of Michigan and former Wolverines, as some of you guys know.
Trouba, yeah, I know.
Yep, Trouba and Connor, and a few others out there. I mean, the Jets were Ann Arbor West for a while. But in terms of enforcers, we do collect Jody Shelley.
Okay.
And I don't think, I haven't seen too many of his come available the last couple of years, actually. So,
Yeah, that's a real niche part of our hobby is the enforcer collectors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like I guess there's guys that collect goalies, guys that collect enforcers. Because you look at some of the pricing on those things, it's always astounded me what some of those jerseys go for. But again, to each their own.
Yeah, and it's funny, like all of that. You seem to get a very the market will swing with all those different things. Is some of them everybody's super hot for enforcers, and it seems to be trending as I've seen more of them sell and be posted. I think it's the pricing and all that is trending up because the role of the enforcer continues to disappear and it or has disappeared. There is not a true enforcer anymore.
Right. No.
No.
Ryan Reeves would be the closest thing we have to that right now.
Yeah, I think that's one of those niche. I mean, there's always going to be goalies, but as far as the enforcers go, there's not really guys. You know, you got some pest guys and whatever, but there's not guys jumping into that full enforcer role anymore. So I think that like what you said, I think that jersey and that segment of jerseys, when guys can't get new stuff on guys, that stuff's going to get hot. You know, coming up in the next couple of years, as there's only a finite number of them out there.
Right. Yeah, as they get absorbed into the hobby, yeah, I guess like anything else, the price will go up.
The other interesting one that I had missed initially and accidentally stumbled across it looking through stuff tonight was Dennis Vasquez 95-96 Islanders fisherman jersey.
From the one that was cut up?
Yeah, cut all the way up the middle, blood still on it. And of course, there's all kinds of video and photography of that. But that sold for, with fees, $1,490.
Oh.
Well, the problem is nobody can wear that one because it's cut all up the middle.
That'd be a good one to put into a frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And put all a lot of captured pictures from that event
yes,
around it. Trying to think of some of the other stuff that we were gonna cover. It's like I know a lot of people seeing posts were happy with what they got, or again, I think a lot of people surprised with pricing where things fell. Didn't seem like a ton of people missed out too much. I didn't see a ton of complaints, but I don't always see them all either.
I'm sure there's a thread, people complaining about the 20% hammer.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know why people can't get over that. Classic does an amazing job of bringing such a massive assortment of things together for an auction. And they also do an amazing job, for the most part, researching these items.
I agree with you.
And the write-ups and all the work that goes on behind the scenes. Like, I mean, I don't see it as a big issue. I mean, anybody that's bidding, you work it into the price of your item.
Yeah, and there's always someone who hasn't seen that there's going to be a 20% hammer. How you don't know that, I don't really understand. You have to acknowledge that when you submit your bid.
Paul, you're in, or we're in the IT field. Pat, you're in the IT field, and so am I. And Wade, you're a car dealer. What does nobody read?
Fine print.
Fine print. But you know what? Because I hadn't been at Classic forever, I had to fill that out. That was like the first two lines, and it was big print about the 20%.
Yeah, I would not call that fine print. That is
no, they put it out there.
Bigly print.
Yeah, there's no hiding it on Classic. And again, I think Mark and his crew do an amazing job. I mean, they really are a leader in the hockey, world and with what we collect. And we're really lucky to have them doing the job they're doing and providing the opportunity to get a lot of really great stuff. So hats off.
Where are you going to find a lot of this stuff?
No, I mean, they do a great, knowing a lot of people in the hobby and a lot of guys who work for these auction houses, I know some guys who are in that acquisition role at a lot of these places. And, quietly, those guys put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of hitting the road and making phone calls to find stuff that, otherwise doesn't enter the hobby. So, like I said, those guys all do and a lot of those places do a great job. We're really lucky to have people in that aspect of the hobby.
Well, and just the number, because I've even seen it in either blues groups I'm in or other places where people post, "Hey, I went to this estate sale, and here's was all these posters and signs from this arena or that place or whatever." Those aren't hobbyists. They don't necessarily think to go to an auction house. So getting that word out, and guys like Classic being able to go out there and dig those things up that aren't necessarily just in the hands of collectors.
Yeah.
People may have not realized that was whatever this thing was even in the hobby.
Yeah,
Or something that was a one-off that somebody dug up or was hanging in a closet.
Well, they've done such a good job. How many pro players are going to them now with their collections as they're, getting on in years, and their kids may not be interested, so they want to get it out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was surprised to see as many Belfour things, because I thought he'd sold all of that the first time around when he, and I've talked about it at length before, when he sold all that to start his bourbon business. Which I'm still
on to a few things.
What's that?
He must have hit into a few things.
Yeah. Checked another closet or something like the Blues do with some of their stuff. Because that's, and Pat, I'll ask you, because I'll call you an insider for lack of a better word. And if you can answer anything, if you can't answer, I get completely. But do the Jets hoard a lot of old things, or do they seem to want to get them out?
No. The equipment room, the dressing room guys, they'll only keep things that they may need as backups. They do keep backup jerseys, of course. Every team does, but for the most part, no. They do not keep a lot of stuff back.
Because and Wade and I both deal with the Blues, and as you mentioned, Rinkside Reserve, their site where they posted a lot of stuff. So it's not just auctions. And last Friday, and I'm assuming do another drop of some kind tomorrow, they dropped a whole pile of 93, 94 training camp jerseys.
Wow.
Guys like Murray Barron, Tom Tilley, Tony Herkus, and some 94, 95 clown style ones with no name bar. But I'm sorry, it's 2023. What the hell have you been hoarding this stuff so long for?
And we're very different also in the way that a lot of teams have their end of year locker room sales. Well, we don't, for the most part, because we set up a booth every Jets game. Bring out the jerseys, equipment, everything, and we sell it every game. And then also just through word of mouth, we sell through the link on the Jets website. If you go to the Jets website, shop, click on shop, and then game worn jerseys, there's a link there where you can send a request in for anything. So we sell the stuff all year long.
And I think that's a smart way to do it. And I mean, hell, I reached out to you because I can't remember if it was you.
Ribbon bag.
Yep, had posted the picture, or somebody was at a Jets game and there was a goalie bag and that in it. I reached out to you, said that's sold, but tracked down a player bag for me and shipped it down here, because I love those bags are built so damn good. I love having, and I love the Jets logo. Yeah, I'm a Blues fan, but I just that logo is so sharp.
Yeah, it's one of the best out there. Not that I'm biased.
Well, I do have to say, your setup at both the Jets and the Moose games, it's really impressive. I have not been up there for a game. I've only seen photos from you and from others. And it's, I mean, it's shocking how much you put out each game and make available for sale.
Well, because all of this is set up by collectors. I'm a 35-year collector. So, I just think of what I would like to see, so yeah, I think we have one of the best setups, like people walking through it amazes me when people are walking through the concourse and they don't stop at our booth just because it's so colorful and there's so many things to see. But yeah, and then the Moose games, I mean, I've been doing that for 22 years now.
Wow.
And Yeah, I mean, and of course, what I like to do, because I've been a long time moose collector, so I have a fairly decent moose collection. So what I do is I always bring out things for people to see, and to make a really nice display, and it makes a great backdrop for what we're auctioning that game.
Can I ask you a question? One
Sure.
thing that I wonder is, so like with you being a hobbyist and you guys being so well connected, and we kind of see it. How do you guys now? Do you determine pricing based upon what stuff sells for? Do you guys look at third party? Are you guys looking at eBay and Facebook and
Look
stuff
at
like that?
everything.
Okay,
Look at everything.
I'm just interested. You know.
Yep. Look at everything. And people seem I think people are pretty good with the pricing on our uniforms. I mean, we have you have your star players, and then you have your third and fourth line players, and they're priced accordingly. For demand too.
Just curious.
The demand and what everything's going on. I mean, like I say, I scour all the team sites, I scour auctions, and that's pretty much what we go with.
Now, does the team as a whole understand like how this hobby works and the popularity of this stuff, or is it just at the end of the day they're happy that you're getting it sold and making money for the organization?
I think there's probably a little bit of that, but I mean, I think every team understands that there's a collector base out there, and you've seen that by the amount of specialty jerseys coming out now.
Yes.
They realize it. Like they know there's a good collector base out there. So I'm sure most teams didn't have much trouble selling the reverse retros.
No, they sure as hell didn't. Those went in a big hurry.
So yeah, no, I mean, they get it. It's just a lot of teams, they have someone within the organization that looks after the game worn stuff, right? So I've been very fortunate as a longtime collector. It just worked out, and yeah, I mean, it's something like I say, I feel very, very lucky to be doing it, and they seem to be pretty happy with the results.
And you know what? I think you're living a lot of ours dreams to get a chance to work with the NHL teams to help with this stuff, because
I feel, I never take it for granted, and I feel very fortunate. Every game I work, and that's one thing I just love to do. I love talking to collectors. That's why I love going to the expos. I've been to quite a few Migrate expos. I'm so glad we've been able to finally get some going here. Just standing in the concourse and talking to people and talking sports and also educating people, because they come by, they see our booth. A lot of people don't really, what's game worn? What is that? Is it autographed? Right? So it's part of the job is educating people what this is, what the hobby's all about. The fact that, you're picking up a pair of gloves. Yeah, that was Mark Scheifele's gloves. That was Connor Hellebuck's jersey.
That's cool.
And you may have been at the games to watch him wear those.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Doc, can I segue into something? Because I have a question.
Go for it.
Well, for all of us. And it's pretty cool that Winnipeg is one of the teams that has this, along with the Blues and a couple other teams. We have new captaincies that have been announced. Yep. So Adam Lowry, St. Louis boy, your guys' new captain. Mm-hmm. Obviously the Blues announced theirs. So I guess I wanted to segment a conversation into, what does the captaincy do to the jersey value of said player? Like for you guys, like what's that exactly? But and like the collectability now of a Braden Shen jersey, who's a guy who's been in St. Louis for a while. Lowry's obviously been with Winnipeg for a while. It's interesting to see the bump in value now. It's going to be really fun to see what Shen jerseys do now, and Lowry jerseys and some of these other guys. I think that's kind of a fun conversation.
What's interesting is Lowry's popularity actually took off last year. Mm-hmm. When he, as soon as they put the A on his jersey last year, his popularity went through the roof. And the other fact is he's one of the guys in the NHL that can stand up to Reeves.
Yeah.
Right?
So you can have a little bit more wear on that captain's jersey too.
Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah, and
I mean,
that's definitely like a Shen thing, you know. Like I think of
Mhm.
Shen. People ask me about the C, and I suddenly think about all the times where we've come out, had a slumping period, and next thing you know, that's the guy who's dropping the gloves and you know throwing the fists to get the team back in a game or to fix a situation. So it's like, how is that guy not the perfect captain in St. Louis?
no, I think Lowry is the perfect captain for Winnipeg.
Yeah, I agree. I love his play. You know, definitely somebody that you know we keep up with here as you know NHL players are really developing in the St. Louis area a lot more, and it's really been cool to see our growth internationally into the NHL and around you know all the leagues.
Yeah, here Josh Morrissey would have made a great captain as well, but I think no one's disputing the selection of Lowry for sure.
Doc, what do you think about what do you think the prices will do? And also, Paul, what have you seen with players that as they move up into that role?
I think it's definitely going to go up. I'm actually trying to get to my list from the last year's auctions to kind of take a guess because my memory is not good enough to pull that out of my head anymore.
That shirt.
I know the Sharks add, a few $100 premium to it. Not as much as, you would expect. The Red Wings, conversely, a Larkin jersey typically is, I think, like 4,500 now from Hockey Town Authentics. And I mean, that's definitely a premium. And I can't remember what his went for before the C, but I could be wrong. I thought they were more in the 3K range, but I could be mistaken on that. So,
other than the specialty jerseys, Shen was averaging, and again, we had a really down season past year, was averaging around 850.
Yeah, I would say those are.
I'm betting it hits over 1,000 now because a lot of people do collect captain's jerseys in general.
I would say they're going to be $1,500 this season. Is my guess.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Wheelers were 2,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's
Canadian, of course.
Yeah.
The other thing that we appreciate down here, Pat, is the exchange rate. If we need to buy anything from you, that exchange rate is really nice.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
So thank you. I know the other way it sucks. I deal with
we don't appreciate the exchange rate going the other way.
I have a friend that buys stuff from the Blues rink side gear to wear and that, and constantly has it shipped to me because it's cheaper for me to ship it back up there than it is. But yeah, he constantly bitches about that exchange rate.
I bet.
Gentlemen, you got anything else on your mind this evening? It's again, camp's open today. I know the Blues are playing a split game against the Coyotes on Saturday. I'm excited for, and I'm glad to be back into the hockey season. I know we've done a lot of shows over the summer every couple of weeks, and that's been enjoyable. But now with being able to see if something happens to a jersey, we can cover it or different things that we see. I mean, one of the big question marks still for the season, and I did go check their site. There's nothing out there, is what the hell Boston's going to do, because they've taken it in-house now. What's their program going to be like?
Yeah, there was a job opening for somebody.
Yeah.
Boston was looking for someone to handle their game-worn program.
And that's a question I'll ask you, Pat, too, that makes me think of this is, have you had other teams reach out to you and or the Jets to ask how you guys do stuff?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I figured some
I
of
won't
that
go into
happened.
which teams, but yeah,
no, and that's fine.
Yeah, we've had some teams come out, and I know they were looking at our letters of authenticity, which I think if you ask Paul, I think are considered some of the best in the National Hockey League.
Not some of the best, the best in the National Hockey League.
Yep.
I agree with that. You guys do a bang.
Detail is incredible.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, again, you have collector input into that letter of authenticity, so that's why. Because I mean, like, you look at all those letters out there, how many of them actually, like, you have that and it matches right up to the jersey?
There's descriptions.
Yeah.
of marks and stuff sometimes. I mean, there's details, not just,
Mhm.
it's a jersey worn by player XYZ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
And
We
yet-
so we're
hope on
pretty,
these dates that we wrote down.
And you typically have a photo of some wear mark or something on it, at least that, which is
Yep.
really nice.
and that goes back to the IHL Moose days.
Yes.
That's when that started. So,
Very
so yeah, we've had teams ask us about the certificates and then the folders that are used. Even I know one team asked us about our the warm up puck and goal puck and game puck program.
Oh, those programs are massive. You've seen as teams have put those out. Some of those prices get insane, even for just the warm up pucks.
Yeah.
Any team that doesn't do it is crazy, because there's a real demand for them. There's a really large collector base that loves the pucks.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
And I
and
know-
when you know,
Sorry, go ahead.
and when you can provide the goal pucks with the solid provenance that we do, they've been a hit for years.
And I know
Are the
some
Moose-
teams just do the home or do it for their players and don't care about the road guys. And I know that
No.
drives a lot of collectors nuts.
Now the road teams have the rights to those pucks. So if they say,
Oh, I was not aware of that.
yes, well, Alexander Ovechkin, I don't know if it was this past season or season, but he keeps all his pucks.
Wow.
I think he keeps all his everything with the
Yeah.
pictures I've seen.
Yeah. So I mean that would have been a nice one for the team to get, but unfortunately he kept it. But we've been lucky enough to get some Connor McDavid's or Austin Matthews or Sidney Crosby's, and there's collectors out there that are very happy we did.
Very cool.
Do you have a goal puck program for the Moose?
They've started a little bit of one. We started auctioning a few of them last season, but not with. And the only ones we don't get the opposition teams. If we do get them, we get the odd, and it's not every game. So they haven't started it in full for the Moose, but we've been getting some.
No, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know the Chicago Wolves have a decent goal puck program.
Yes, they do.
At their,
Yep.
yeah. And you can get some away goals for that, and almost every home goal.
Mhm. We've actually been asked for some of the road teams, but unfortunately, we just don't get them.
Interesting.
And it's
I like it when
Sorry,
the
go ahead,
Moose
Matt.
do. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
When the Moose do, we just found this out last year when they did the Follow Your Dreams and the military specialty night games, that they actually did up special pucks for them. The Moose did.
Wow.
So yeah, and we actually did auction some of the Follow Your Dreams one. That's the Wasak Indigenous
Oh yeah.
jerseys that they do, which I think are some of the best looking jerseys out there.
By
They
far.
actually included that logo on the pucks, and yeah, there was we got the gold pucks from that game, and they all sold.
Well, and it opens up an opportunity if somebody, because I'm assuming those jerseys went for insane money. You can, or
I wouldn't say insane money.
it is Canadian, so it's different anyway. But
Well-
buying pucks to be able to get the logo and at least have something with that logo on it at a reasonable cost.
Yep. The Moose have been. We only do a few jerseys in the concourse for Moose specialty nights. The rest of them have been auctioned on NHL auctions.
Okay, very good.
So they actually do sell in U.S. funds.
You guys probably appreciate that.
I'm sure the foundation does, yeah. Because they all go to special causes. Either military or WASAC programs, or when we sold the autism awareness jerseys, they've gone the funds have gone to our Saint Amant Center that looks after people with autism or so yeah.
Very cool.
What else should we touch on this evening before we wrap this up, gentlemen? Any hobby news or things that you've seen or stuff coming up that you're aware of that I haven't seen or don't know?
I'm just ready for the season, just counting down the days. And one of my favorite things always is watching guys make teams and new jersey numbers and all that kind of stuff. So just excited to see where everybody kind of falls in and falls out, and ready for another good season, and interested to see where everything falls out after the Adidas thing at the end of the year.
Yeah,
things are gonna
Pat,
be
how's
interesting.
and didn't mean to interrupt you, Wade, but Pat, how's
No.
that going to affect you guys, or have you even thought about it at the end of next season, where all that Adidas stuff goes?
Yes. Well, I just go by when the change from Reebok to Adidas happened and all that stuff came out. Yeah, all the training camp jerseys, all the practice jerseys, like anything, all the backup shirts, hundreds of them came out. So
Yeah.
there will be a lot of stuff coming out.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be a huge jump on the market, and it was then too. Reebok to Adidas, because Wade and I both saw the Blues do that. Paul, you probably saw it heavily with the Sharks. So people
It's going
want
to make for an interesting end of the year.
right, and lots of fun stuff and rando stuff picked up, because that they've held on to guys that might be called up or all that stuff. So I'm excited for the end of next year. But yeah, let's enjoy this hockey season and keep an eye on some of the jerseys and see what happens. And we'll see when these first auctions with Bedard and some of the other big names, where they go and how many jerseys they're wearing.
Oh, that guy's going to wear so many jerseys, it's not going to be funny.
But will the Hawks release any?
That's a damn fine question, and we may have to reach out to some people to see what they've heard or can tell us. So, Paul, you got anything on your mind this evening before we get out of here?
Not too much. Sharks preseason starts on Sunday, so we'll probably head to that game, playing the Knights here in San Jose. Check in on the Zamboni. I'll have an update in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Yeah, nothing. Looking forward to the Global Series games. That's gonna, we're not going to those, but it's gonna be fun to see those. And just excited the season starting again. I mean, we're right now. I mean, it's the best time of year. Hockey starting. We're in the midst of college football. 49ers are playing right now. No idea how they're doing.
10-3 I'm watching.
10-3? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. Yeah. Sorry, fellas. I admit I watch football while we're doing this.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Monica gave me an update. The Michigan alums have the 10 points. So.
Yeah, see, Wade's such a veteran at this; he can do that. See, I've just been literally fixated on the screen.
See, now, Pat, now you're through your first one. You're good.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to the season. The Jets have a lot of new players, especially after the PLD trade to Los Angeles. How those players are going to fit in. I'm a huge Moose fan, so I'm very much looking forward to see what our Moose team is going to be like this year.
Very cool.
That's nice having both those right there.
Oh, it's so great. Could understand why they sent them to St. John's when the Jets came back in 2011, because they didn't, they just didn't know. But yeah, they've come back here now, and I know it's a real bonus for the team to have their prospects right here.
Very cool.
I missed that we had the Peoria Rivermen AHL for the Blues forever until the team sold it. And yeah, I miss having, you could drive 45 minutes north to watch all the guys and then an hour and a half south to watch the NHL, and definitely miss those days. Now they're all the way out in Springfield, and that's way the hell too far to go.
I was going to say one thing that might be a good discussion topic is we've seen that unfortunately some of our collecting brethren have passed away in the last little while, and there's been a lot of pretty major collections coming on the market. Either sold through some of our collecting friends, or like this past classic auction, John Harkins, who was a well-known collector, passed away earlier this year, and that a good chunk of his collection was in that classic auction. So what do you guys think about all this stuff coming out with everything else that's out there being absorbed into the hobby?
it's a lot. I think that's the
Mhm.
biggest thing. I know that there's another collection getting ready to come available, and then obviously Milt had all that stuff, and then it's just there's so many. It's so much. I think it doesn't affect collectors as much as in the long run. I think like Classic burned through a lot of jerseys. So I guess the question is, we talked about some of those jerseys that didn't get bids.
Or
So
went very low.
or went very cheap. So I think it hurts there. I think premium stuff always is going to be premium stuff. But I can tell you that from what I've seen, some of the really premium stuff that's still sitting on lists or stuff I hear that's still out there is probably only sitting out there still because there was so much other premium stuff that was a must. And then people have to, people have to reload, there's not a lot of people who are collectors who are in a position to just buy, whenever they want. You always have to be thinking about, the mortgage and the car payments and sending kids to college. And, so I think that's why a couple of those lists and a couple other reasons that I probably don't want to talk about, live recorded, but I think that all plays into it.
Well, and it's when you drop so many, and again, for all of those people that passed away, they were big parts of the hobby, either super active or hadn't been active for a while. But if you start looking back over the years, seeing a lot of us had dealt with them or talked to them or whatever, it is sad to hear when any of these collectors pass away. But if you start kind of looking at a timeline's not the right word, but kind of go back to look and see the ages of these people for a while, I think we're gonna continue to see that where you have in not a large amount, but have significant collectors passing away kind of around the same time because we're all getting older and a lot of the collectors have been in the same age. So as that happens, if families aren't keeping that stuff, you may continue to see large dumps of jerseys hit auction houses or the market through other people. And you're right, Wade, there's only so much money to go around, and you always want to get the best of the best first and then hope the other stuff's available later once you can afford to buy the others.
And that is something we have discussed for a future show, is what to do with your jerseys when you're no longer here and how to plan for that. There's there's a lot of people who passed away much too early with basically not much background on the jerseys for their family or whatever and what to do with them. And I know other people are totally planned who are younger than us and they're still planned, if something happens to them, for their family to take care of it. So I think it would be a nice discussion to have, not today, but on another show.
Yeah, and in the coming weeks we'll do that. And Pat, you're welcome to join us again too, especially since you brought it up to begin with. But it's you're right, because some other family members get it, and some don't give a damn. They just, it's his stupid hobby, and he spends money and does these things and goes to expos and don't care and think they're just fabric. And that's how some end up at Goodwill, at pawn shops, at weird places for no money or a donation.
Yeah. I mean, as much as we all love the stuff, our family members, like, I have one daughter and she's not interested at all. So
yeah, my kids are the same way. My wife gets it, luckily, because she grew up around Peoria and the hockey scene up there, so she understands it. But if I'm gone, there's no reason for her to keep that. She doesn't have that kind of interest. She knows there's value and would know who to reach out to, but as far as wanting to keep it, no.
Yeah, well, that's I had the discussion with my daughter as well, and she actually has contact information in her phone to reach out to, just in case.
That's good thinking.
Yeah,
there's gonna be a heck of a yard sale on Highland.
Yeah,
was that?
By Croak, there's gonna be a heck of a yard sale.
And only so many jerseys fit in the casket. I mean, it's really difficult.
It's funny. A collector friend of mine said to me once, we are all only caretakers.
True.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll enjoy this stuff for as long as we can, and then unfortunately someone dear to us is going to have to deal with it after the fact.
Yep. And we hope it goes to another good home and people just continue to enjoy it forever.
Yeah, that's what I would love to see, is it end up in the hands of someone that would appreciate it for sure.
And when we trade or when we sell, we hope for it the same way, and even more so with that. Gentlemen, I think it's been another fantastic show in the books. Enjoy the if you're going to camps to watch that. I think most of us are in some form or another. Enjoy the preseason games, and I know we'll have a show before the puck drops to start the season, but it's glad to have hockey back.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll see you guys all back here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, thanks. Take care, guys.
Bye, guys.